Ever wanted to know how to help your twin flame? Well, stay tuned. That's the conversation that we're having today. Hi everyone, my name's Christina from the website www.twinflamestages.com. Thank you so much for joining me on today's YouTube video. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'm actually going to be answering one of the viewer questions that one of you has sent into my website. So it's going to be a little bit of a different format today, a bit more like an audio or a podcast rather than a video, but I hope you will enjoy it and it will answer your question. Now, what is the question that I am looking at answering today? Well, so the question sent in by one of you was, how do I help my twin flame? I'm sure we can all relate to this question, having asked it ourselves probably many a time. Now, the question as it came in didn't actually have any context, but I'm going to assume that the person asking this question is the Divine Feminine, because the Divine Feminine is actually the only twin flame who knows about the connection, the twin flame connection, at the beginning of their journey. The Divine Masculine responds to it at the nudging of their soul, but they aren't consciously aware of their actions, which is why the twin flames must not judge them, because nothing was actually deliberate. Now, the second assumption that I want to make is that the person asking this question might be fairly early on in their journey. I definitely know for me there was a huge desire to almost mother my twin flame, to guide him through the journey, but that isn't needed at all, and let me explain to you why. I've mentioned before on my website, www.twinflamestages.com, the concept of twin flames a little bit like superheroes, and while it might seem a little far-fetched, we are souls with a spiritual mission to help humanity, who, because our special gifts get turned on after being activated by our twin, do seem to have some kind of otherworldly powers that most humans aren't really currently accessing or using. Now, the important part of my twin flame superhero analogy that I want to point out is the new otherworldly kind of energy that you and your twin flame need to step into equally. It's an even partnership. Both of you need to learn how to traverse the twin flame spiritual awakening journey on your own. You can't do it for each other. So your superhero analogy, you won't be like Batman and Robin, where Batman holds all the powers and Robin is just a sidekick. Both you and your twin flame will be equally powerful and equally in all of your glory and beauty. And I don't mean powerful in a negative kind of ego way, but both of you have been through the journey. You've faced all the things that you've needed to face. You've done all the work that you have needed to do, and gone through the various nights of the soul and gone through hell and back again multiple times. Both you are equal in your ability to overcome those adversities. So think of it much more as you and your twin are like a Superman and a Supergirl instead of Batman and Robin. You're equally strong, aligned and powerful, even if you may both have slightly different gifts. Now, back to the question of how can I help my twin flame? The first point I want to focus on is stepping into your own otherworldly energy and working out what your superpowers are. This should be your first priority, working on you becoming the best and most authentic part of you rather than worrying about what your twin flame is doing. So when you start the work, your Divine Masculine twin flame is not consciously aware of what's happening and can't therefore consciously make the decision to step into his otherworldly energy and explore his gifts. But if you are focusing on yours, your twin flame will ultimately start to get weird instincts in this area as well, and will naturally move towards exploring that area and using his gifts in the same way that you do. So by you doing it, your twin will follow what you're doing, and you don't need to physically ask them to do it. It will become instinctual. So it's kind of leading by example. Not that you go and tell your twin flame, see, this is what I'm doing and what you should do. No. That is an ego approach to doing it. And their ego will literally probably dig their heels in and refuse to do it. But if it's something that you're working towards and you're guided by your soul, then this is something that your twin flame will ultimately start to move towards as well. So just as you do, your twin flame will equally feel the desire to do and also move in that direction. The second piece of advice that I want to give you is that it's important to give your twin flame, your divine masculine, space. Now, I'm not sure if the person who is asking this question was in separation or not when they actually asked this, but one of the reasons behind separation, and in particular the way or the reason that the divine masculine often rejects the divine feminine and enforces a separation, is to actually give her the space to step into her otherworldly energies and learn how to connect to the 5D whilst being here incarnated on earth. This separation is a gift from the divine masculine to the divine feminine, although most people don't realize this and probably would perceive it in this way. So on the flip side, if we want the divine masculine to also step into this growth and the otherworldly energies and to become his authentic self, then he too will need space to process it. So the divine feminine will need to give the divine masculine space to feel into what is happening to him as well. And don't expect this process to look very streamlined for the divine masculine, because they don't have a mental target. They don't know about the twin flame journey. They don't know this is what they're doing or should be doing, but they're just simply moving on gut instinct. So don't try and correct them or drive them, and definitely don't should them and tell them what they should be doing. If you think about it logically, of both of our sexes, males are far more used to carving their own path in life. And the divine masculine, who could be in a male or female body, but generally won't be much different. So thwarting their efforts to be themselves by telling them what they should do is actually against the twin flame process, and will also get their egos up and get them digging their heels in again and not wanting to change. So how are we going to give the divine masculine space? Well, let's use the analogy of when a baby starts to learn to stand on its feet and walk. You can't do that for them, but you can watch they are safe from a distance as they explore their area and try to pull themselves up from a seating position. A parent is there if needed, but you generally need to let the child work out what works for themselves. And yes, they're going to stand up, and yes, they're going to fall, but as long as there's nothing unsafe in the area, they will generally be fine and have learnt a lot from the experience. Your child is going to try and stand up by pulling on furniture. And the sooner that they learn that it's much safer to lean on a sofa than it is to pull on a tall lamp, then it's going to be better off for them, and they're all going to be much better for the process. Now, an important thing to remember about this is when your divine masculine needs help in this process, they will reach out. You don't need to be constantly asking, do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need help? No, they'll reach out to you when they need it. Now, the third and final point that I want to mention regarding the question, how can you help your twin flame, is to love them always. Now, as I said earlier, the divine masculine is not consciously aware they're on a twin flame journey, so their intentions with you are intuitively soul-led, and they never want to hurt you or disrespect you or abandon you or anything like that. They are just following the demands of their soul, and sometimes occasionally rebelling against them, but it's never malicious or deliberate. So please don't take anything that your divine masculine says to you personally, and just love your twin flame regardless of what is happening. Remember how much you realized you loved them, were in the bubble love stage, and continue to love them exactly like that, regardless of how they are presenting to you in the 3D. Because of course your twin flame is mirroring healing that you need to address. It's not they're being nasty or narcissistic or anything like that in any way. The part of their journey that they share with you is that you each mirror lessons to each other, unhealed areas that you need to work on. So please, as the twin flame who is conscious of the journey, knows what's happening and knows where you are going, please have compassion for your divine masculine. And that the fact that they are literally going on this twin flame journey with a blindfold on. They are feeling their way, responding to what's happening because they don't consciously know what's happening. As a divine feminine, you're allowed to have the insight and the vision as to what's happening. So please use that to remain in compassion and remain in love for your twin flame always, regardless of what they do. So be very patient and loving to them as you would a small child. Use your divine feminine maternal nurturing ability to love them exactly as they are right now, exactly as they're preparing or presenting to you in the current moment. And you do this confident in who your twin flame is becoming, their beautiful, wonderful, authentic self, and in the greater knowledge that one day you two will stand together hand in hand as superheroes, ready to help the greater world. So does that make sense? Okay, so let's recap now the 3 points that I mentioned on how to help your twin flame, which of course I have assumed to mean how can the divine feminine help her divine masculine. The first point that I made was 1, to focus on your own spiritual awakening and twin flame journey and stepping into your own otherworldly energy and explore your spiritual gifts rather than worrying about what your divine masculine might be doing. The second point was to give your twin flame, your divine masculine, space to work through and understand and experience this twin flame journey on their own, knowing that they will be able to reach out to you if needed. So this means, where possible, also try and avoid blocking them or putting up walls. You want to leave some channels of communication open and to also be approachable so that they don't feel, afraid of coming to see you. And the third point is always love your twin flame. See them through the eyes of love, whatever stage they or you are at. Love them unconditionally, because that's what twin flames are here to do. Now, I have over 70 pages of channeled twin flame content on my blog, and there are 3 different twin flame courses if you would like some help on your twin flame journey. I also provide a question and answer service on my website, as well as a big picture guidance session that helps you find more about what might be causing you to be stuck or what you may be misunderstanding on your current twin flame journey. All of these resources are available on my website if you are interested. Now, to the twin flame viewer among you who actually requested this video, this question, I hope what I have shared with you today had helped. And to the rest of you all, good luck on your twin flame journey. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to talking to you in the next YouTube video. Much love.